Spicy fried oyster mushroom sandwich. This was one of the favorite sandwiches of the food stylists and photographers when we were shooting this for the book. And I thought it would be fun to make them into like party-sized sliders. So we're gonna be putting them in King's Hawaiian rolls and make them like pull-apart fried mushroom sandwiches. Let's get started. We have a 1/4 cup of water mixed in with 1/2 cup of potato starch. And then we have a 2 parts AP flour, 1 part potato starch mixture here with some salt and pepper. And we're just gonna break these mushrooms down into more manageable pieces that will make it easier to put into our sandwich. Not really worried about washing these mushrooms. These ones were very obviously grown in a greenhouse, probably out of bags and stuff. So unless I see any issues of like dirt or anything like that, we're just gonna leave them be. We don't want our pieces of mushrooms to be too thick. We don't want them to be too small either, because then they're just like hard to manage. But if they're thick and round like this, try to maybe split them up into like flat segments. And this will make them easier to fry and also to lay out. Also, the more spindly or like spindly bits that are there, the more that will be able to grip to the flour and the dredge, which will ultimately yield a nicer fried mushroom. If your mushrooms were grown out on the field and the farm, then yes, absolutely brush off or wash off the mushrooms as needed. I must have gotten this idea on TikTok. I think somewhere I saw someone like slice the Hawaiian rolls like this, all the way through, trying to make sure that, you know, you're getting halfway through the whole thing. Yeah, that's what we want. So what we're gonna do after is we're just pretty much going to put this all in a layer, put the mushrooms down, sauce the mushrooms, and then put this on top. And that way, once it comes time to put this out at a party on a tray, people can literally just tear off their own slider, and it'll make our jobs a whole lot easier to assemble. You're actually supposed to heat these things up in the tray, like 2-3 minutes. Sauce for the mushrooms is easy enough. Some chili oil here. And normally we use duojiao, but then I happen to have this Italian stuff, this calabrese peperoncino, and it seems very, very like pungent. So we're gonna give this a try. But otherwise, it's Chinese fermented chilies. But this looks like an Italian chili oil, so we're just gonna mix these two together. And 5 spice. Now, duojiao is normally already very salty, so we'll just check, because this might need some salt. Yeah, touch of salt. Now this is a spicy sandwich, because when I made the sandwich, it was supposed to be the vegan option in my book. And in my experience, vegans can handle a lot more spicy food because they eat a lot of cuisines that are spicier. This one is not vegan because we're using the King's Hawaiian roll, which has egg and butter and stuff in it. But, you know, you can make it vegan easily if you use like a vegan roll. We are going to treat this slurry here as a dredge. We're doing this first to create some little wet bits of flour, and that will create more crunchy bits in the sandwich. When you mix starch with water like this in this ratio, the starch moves slowly, and it makes it a little hard to move around, but it makes it adhere very nicely. And you don't have to use potato starch, you can use cornstarch. Tapioca starch is not the best for this purpose. I would ask cornstarch, rice flour, or potato starch would be the ideal starches. And to my plant-based people, you will notice that I did not use any egg to make the flour stick to the mushrooms. Starchy water is honestly all you need, and actually works just as well, if not better, than egg does. Once you notice that it's nice and crispy, go ahead and take them out. And yes, you can, if you would like to do a double fry, you can do that here. So just Bring them out, let them dry, and then you just take turns. It's best to salt while they're still just a little bit wet with oil. Should be good for now. You could season with whatever you like at this point. It's not in the recipe, but I've decided that I'm going to put a little bit of white pepper in here. Touch of Szechuan peppercorn salt on top of all the chili oil. That's so good. So good it should be put in a book. I've actually never done this properly or used the King's Hawaiian rolls properly. I would just like, eat them, but it smells so good out of the oven. Oh my God, these are like so nice. All right, so we're gonna do this here. We're just going to, I don't know if this will actually work because like, you know, not everything will pull, but I think if you have like a tight enough grip, it'll work. And since this is not vegan anyways, we'll just make this a vegetarian one. I kind of want to put some like shitty cheese on it. Like maybe a couple of slices of American cheese just on top of it, just because. We'll keep one corner without because I only have 3. And finally, more chaos. There. All right. I don't even know what this is anymore, but it's gonna be good. There you go. Spicy fried oyster mushrooms roll. Sweet roll. Hawaiian sweet roll. So many words for whatever this is with cheese. So sure, I mean, that one doesn't have anything in it anymore, but like, Oh, the way that this is like everything right now. Yeah, this was a fun little project. We will be exploring this again. I might make this for like the next potluck thing. Give this a try, whatever this is. I'll think of a title later. All right, so while we were eating this, I realized that I missed a very crucial element of this thing that I just invented. What this really needed is some pickles. So I'm adding a bread and butter pickle, which is like a not Swedish, but sweet-ish and spicy pickle to it. And that will totally just, and I know this for a fact without even tasting it, it will totally just make this. And there you have it, whatever this is.